Board Game Geek, welcome to the top 10 that's all about you.
That's
this
right.
is the People's Choice.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murph, and today is really about the People's Choice because not only
doubly
is it,
so.
this is doubly so because we're going to be talking about Golden Geek Winners. So if you didn't know, the Golden Geek Awards just finished.
Yep.
And so we're like, oh, this is a good time to kind of like go through and see what are the highest ranked Golden Geek Game of the Year winners. So we do have a bit of a caveat. In 2020, the categorization of things changed a little bit. So it used to be just a game of the year, but then it got split into three categories. Because again, like comparing like a small party game to like a Hegemony is kind of weird.
A little tricky.
So now there's light game, medium game, and heavy game of the year. And so all of these are going to be something that won game of the year. Sometimes
Yes.
they'll be one of the more categorized ones, and sometimes they were just game of the year.
Yeah, and what we're going to be doing today is the ranking is going to be according to their overall ranking on Board Game Geeks. That's why we call it the People's Choice,
Yep.
because you can rank games depending on how much you like them on Board Game Geek, and that affects where they sit in the overall ranking. So these are going to be games that were awarded Game of the Year by the Golden Geeks, which is by you, the Board Game Geek
People voting
users,
on it, yeah.
and the ones that is the consensus overall favorites of all time.
Our number 10 is going to be Hegemony. I would assume this is going to lead its class to the higher in the top 10. So Hegemony, lead your class to victory, won Heavy Game of the Year in 2023.
Nice. It is awesome.
Yes, and it's a big game.
It's a big game. This is a game where highly asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Where you are going to be playing a different class in the country. So there is like the working class, the
Middle
capitalist
class,
class, the middle class, and be kind of the two in between the two of those. And then if you're
state.
playing a full 4-player game, someone will be playing as the state, the government. And you are trying to, maneuver things around in order to make sure your class gets ahead. So the capitalist class is, of course, all about that money, and they are creating businesses and things that then the working class and the middle class player can use their workers to go work those jobs and stuff. And then they get paid by those jobs, and they produce goods that then the capitalists can then use to make foreign trades and stuff like that. The state is essentially trying to make people happy. Like there are various policies. One can be like, the minimum wage and the tax rate and stuff like that. And these things can be voted on and changed throughout the game. And the state is trying to basically get those policies into a certain position based on these kind of schematic cards, for lack of a better word, to kind of, be providing the needs of the people. And there are also state services and buildings as well and stuff. So you're all trying to
do the best you can for
do
your
things that are
people.
the best for your class over the other. So it's a really interesting game in terms of like what's going on. Obviously, if you're in the States and watching this and stuff, like we are very aware of these different classes of people and the struggles and benefits and things for them all. So you're trying to, kind of work with that, but it's a really cool.
Because this game is, I don't know if it won an award, but there's like economists who have talked about
Yeah.
this game and talk about like how accurate it is to just society, all society.
it really
not
is
even just
kind
like
of-
American society,
Yeah.
but just being like, you really do have like completely different priorities as these different classes, where you have like the middle class, which is like a little bit of both. They have like the workers, they can own some businesses, the capitalist class and like the working class and then the state. It's really, really interesting, very highly asymmetric, and really, really fun. And also like not actually quite as hard to get
we were
into.
really worried it's gonna be like soul crushing and like
in terms of the complexity.
way opaque in terms of the rules and stuff. And it
was
really
not too bad.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's still a heavy game. Don't get me
It's
wrong.
ultimately
still
a card
very-
game. You're going to play cards either for the action on that card or to take one of the basic actions. That'll be different depending on which class you are.
Yeah.
Things like that. But yeah, it's a very interesting game. I totally agree. I think this will just keep kind of
Probably.
moving its way up the top 100.
all of these games are in the top 100, right?
Yeah,
so it's
so
like
obviously they're
they're
games
the
of the
game
year.
game of the year winners, right? So I guess it makes sense. But Hegemony is number 10, and it'll probably climb up.
Next up is going to be Wingspan.
I remember when this was Golden Geek 2019 was what
Yep.
this was. This was just Game of the Year, but it like almost swept the entire.
It won, I
was,
think, yeah, like card game and solo
Everything.
game. Any category that it
could have won. It pretty much won, yeah.
could be nominated for and win. It
And again,
it really
that's what the people voted on, right? Like
Yeah.
the people voted for it. People
Yeah.
love Wingspan.
Absolutely.
And as do I. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, 7 odd years down the road now, and there's been several expansions.
Kind
Wingspan
of like-
Asia, which can either be a 1 to 2 player version, or you can expand it to make a 6 or 7 player game of Wingspan. There's Wormspan and Finspan. There's
Yeah, Fin just got an expansion, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wormspan got an expansion as well. So I mean, it's just been incredibly well supported based on the kind of foundation that Wingspan set. And this is again a game where you are bird watchers and you are trying to attract birds to your player board, which is going to have your kind of row of forest, grasslands, and wetlands, each of which have an action that you can take. And as you populate your board with birds, the actions that you're taking, like the forest action is gaining food, becomes stronger.
Right.
So your tableau building, your engine building, many of these cards will have these brown banners that will trigger when you take that action. So then your actions become even stronger.
really
Not
start
just on the
chaining stuff
base
together.
level. Yeah, you can just put together some funky combos. It's really fun, and I feel like it's been ever enduring because it's like that perfect blend of like fun game mechanisms, great art to help sell it, a unique theme that we hadn't really seen at that time.
Yeah, now there's a lot of
before.
bird games, but at the time there really wasn't.
Yeah, and all those things coming together in a really beautiful way where it's just like, wow, that was, felt kind of lightning in a bodily in that way. And it's, continued to be insanely popular ever since.
Yep. Number 8 is going to be Terra Mystica, which won in 2012. This is going to be the oldest game on the list. Terra Mystica, right? Terra Mystica we were talking about Wingspan a second ago. Terra Mystica has spawned a whole bunch of different games. There's like Terra Nova, which is like an easier version, kind of a lighter weight version of Terra Mystica. There's Gaia Project, which is very much like Terra Mystica in space. They are different, but there's a lot of shared DNA. There's Age of Innovation now, which again is all kind of building off that same thing. But this is going to be a game where you are taking a specific faction, like a fantasy race. There's like dwarves and elves, all this different kind of stuff. And all of these games have the same thing, where every single faction basically has one land type that they can live on.
Yep.
And that is it. They cannot be on any other land type. So as you are spreading out and you are moving out and putting out buildings and things like that, you need to terraform the land into your land type. So if your land type is like forest and it's right now on like desert or whatever, you then have to terraform it into forest before you can put your thing there, which is going to take various actions and resources and all these different kinds of things. And it's just a really interesting concept because there's this constant prioritization where there are certain landscapes that are farther away than other ones.
Yeah, more or less similar to your home.
Yeah, there's always going to be like 7 different landscapes. There's going to be like usually like 2 that are only 1 away, and like 2 that are like 2 away, and then like 2 that are 3 away. And so you're kind of like, I really want to move there. That would be good for XYZ reason. But man, I'm going to have to terraform 3 times to sit down there. And I'm like, that is a lot.
Expensive.
Should I just not do that? And it adds this really interesting way of paying, because a lot of these games, like let's say Clans of Caledonia, where it's like if you want to expand on this hex, you have to pay, in this case, a certain amount of money. A lot of times as you're expanding these kinds of games, you have to pay for these things. But doing it like this just feels really different and really interesting. This whole series of games I love.
Yeah, and there's the fun thing of like each faction has their own kind of
They're all very different too, yeah.
central thing that they do. Usually comes from building your kind of main big building, usually unlocks that ability. So not only do you have a certain land type, but you have certain abilities and things that you're going to be able to do better than other people. The buildings, as you're putting them out, will uncover income that you'll be gaining, but you can also upgrade structures from one to the next. But when you upgrade a structure, the old structure goes back on your board now, maybe covers up some income. So, what's important for you is to get your building materials, your money. There's this whole kind of power engine that you can cycle this power to take these special actions as well. On and on and on. Again, it's similar to Wingspan that we talked about. Like, it's sparked other games that are built on the same kind of that central DNA of Terra Mystica, and it's just one that is like really, really fun, creates interesting puzzles, tight resource management. There's
Right.
also timing stuff with like what bonus actions are scoring points in each round to try to maximize on those. And it's just like super fun every time. Next up is going to be Root. This one in 2018.
Another asymmetric. 2018, yes.
2018, yes. Another highly
Lots
asymmetric
people
game.
like isometric games, and particularly BGG users tend to skew heavier and tend to skew to liking games like Root.
Yes.
Which is great. Yeah, Root's incredible.
Yes, this is a game of woodland might and right. This is a war game.
It is. It's
where
kind of
you're
like a
all-
coin game, yeah.
You're all different. Yeah, kind of inspired by the coin series of games. You are different animal factions. Now there's been a whole bunch of expansions. There's all sorts of
I don't know
animals.
how many there are. There's a lot of
Whole
factions
bunch.
now.
And each faction is going to have a very different method for building up your engine and ultimately scoring points. It's a race to, I believe, 30 points in the game. So it is all about how do I get my point generation going? And for in the base version of the game, the Marquis de Cat, like they start off sort of in charge of the woods. They've taken over.
They're everywhere. They're in every spot except for one, I believe.
Yeah, I think except for the
opposite corner, I believe.
the Eyrie, the Eagles roost.
Yeah.
So they're kind of taking over and stuff. And they have this big engine, and they're kind of producing goods and trying to build, additional buildings to kind of generate points. The Eyrie dynasty, these birds have this sort of like programming that you have to add a card to. And then they have to be able to like move, or they have to be able to fight or build a roost and stuff in certain types of clearings, or else they fall into despair.
Which I cannot play the birds. I'm gonna just spare the whole time.
They're tough, man.
I'm gonna spare the whole time.
Yeah. There's the Woodland Alliance, who are like the rebels.
Kind of the insurgency.
The insurgency. They're the ones who are subdued and stuff, but they're going out and spreading the word about
popping
their
up
uprising.
and it's like, ha! Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Vagabond, who's just sort of out to
just a single
sort
character.
of form a single little raccoon that's hiding in the woods, sort of wheeling and dealing with people and making alliances and scoring points that way. And of course, with all the other characters, there's a bunch of stuff. And I think that's like why this game is so well loved. Is like it is incredibly deep. You can play just one faction for a long time and really try to learn them, and then switch to another faction. Like you have a whole new game.
It really. That's I think one of the reasons why
exploration.
It's been so popular is because like a lot of coin games, like Cuba Libre, it's like all the different factions play very differently. So you kind of have 4 different board games in one to some degree, right? Like the very base DNA is the same in each one. But it's like, it's if you're playing the birds or you're playing the cats, like it is completely different. And it just keeps people coming back. And of course, they've supported the heck out of it because it's been incredibly successful. So now, God, I don't know, there's probably like 10, 15 factions now. I mean, it's so much.
More than that,
We've played a little bit of those, but it's just like, there's so much to this game. And they're all so deep and so interesting. It's got great art. It's really got it all. And the art is amazing. The components are great. The little meeples. It's just wonderful. I mean, it's one of those, it's one of the most popular games, most played games in the world for a reason, Number 6 is going to be Lost Ruins of Arnak, which won Medium Game of the Year in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, Lost Ruins, again, another game that's, a lot of these have been supported well because they're very popular, right? And so, but Lost Ruins has continued to be supported, and it's just really, really fun. This is kind of around this time, 2020 is like also when like Dune Imperium came out. There was like a big flux of worker placement games with deck building kind of mixed in, which is, it's 2 mechanics that go really well together.
Yeah.
And Lost Ruins of Arnak is one of those where you are explorers kind of like going deeper and deeper and deeper into like the wilderness, into like the jungle, finding various ruins. There are guardians of those ruins that you have to kind of overcome. And you're doing this through deck building and then worker placement. As you discover these various sites deeper and deeper and deeper in the jungle, you can then put your workers out there, and they're going to be doing cooler and cooler stuff kind of the deeper that you go into them. But they're harder and harder to get to. And then there's also this big research track where you're moving up your 2 research markers up this track. And that's kind of the main game, is that research track.
The point is you're researching the things and sending back your findings.
Exactly. So you're moving up that. And this game is all about extending. So the game is 5 rounds long. And the first round, you're going to be able to do some stuff, but you're not going to be able to do too much. But every round, you're kind of able to extend your round longer and longer and longer, because it's all about like I'm going to play this card. This card is going to give me one of these gems. This gem is now going to allow me to do this. Now that I got to do that, this is going to give me these resources. Now I can do this. Now I can bump up the research track. Oh, that allowed me to draw a card. Now I can play this card. And you can just kind of like chain these in. It's all about just trying to extend your round as long as possible. And I always find those kinds of games really satisfying where you're just trying to go and go and go and just see how long you can kind of go. And it's cool. I really, really enjoy it. It's got great art. It's got a great look. And like I said, they support it like crazy. There's a ton of different maps now. Yeah. The first expansion was the Expedition Leader. So now everyone's deck building starts a little bit different, which is nice. It's just great. There. I really like this game a lot.
Yeah, I don't see this one ever going anywhere. It's
Probably not, yeah.
Been well loved ever since it came out. Next up is going to be SETI.
This is the newest game on the list.
Newest game on the list. This won Heavy Game of the Year in 2024.
Yep.
So fairly recently.
I mean, yeah, it's shot up this far is crazy.
Yeah. So this game has truly skyrocketed like the rockets you're launching in the game. Up the overall rankings, it has gone just crazy.
Yeah, it's like 17 right now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, wild. This is a game where you are... space explorers. We are searching for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yep.
We are going to be launching probes out and visiting the planets in our solar system. We are going to be doing scans of distant stars and things like that. We're going to be gathering data to produce these traces of life, essentially. And once you have, for the two alien species that will be revealed throughout the game, once you have one of each of the three types of traces of life, that alien gets revealed. It's going to come with additional cards that players can get, additional things you can do in order to gain extra scoring spaces with those traces of life and things like that. And so it's a really fun game. Similar to Lost Ruins of Arnak, this is also by CG. This is a game where you are trying to eke out as much as you can out of every round with like some fairly tight resources.
Really tight resources, yeah.
And you're trying to get as much done as you can with the resource you have, your energy and your money and stuff like that. There's card play you can do that is going to give you, one-time benefits or possibly like a little mission to go for, where it's like, hey, if you visit Jupiter, then you complete this mission, which might go toward a milestone at the end or give you a one-time bonus. I feel like in this game in particular, there's a million ways you can score points.
but the reason why we've talked about this a lot, because we talk about this during the Best of BG every month, because it's always in the hotness and stuff. One thing we always bring up, it's like the individual actions are pretty darn simple.
Yeah.
But how you chain them together, I think that's one of the reasons why this game has been so popular, is because like teaching this game is not that hard.
For its size, it's pretty manageable.
Because each individual action is like pretty easy. It also has a really good player aid that basically tells you everything you need to know. It's really, really great. And then, but you get into it, and then again, like choosing what to do is where that depth is. And then having the aliens different each time. They're never going to be a massive change to the game, but they are all different and all do feel very different. It's just, I don't know, it's just really, really good. There was an expansion that came out last year for this that, again, kind of gave everyone an asymmetric power, a little bit of a jumpstart, kind of like a prelude expansion for Terraforming Mars. And it just made the game even better. And so, yeah, I don't imagine this one's going anywhere. If, in fact, my hunch is this game will end up being in the top 10.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion.
Not Gloomhaven yet. Gloomhaven.
Stand by.
Wait till just one number after this. Jaws of the Lion won Heavy Game of the Year in 2020.
Yes, so this is...
it's Gloomhaven.
It's Gloomhaven.
It's a
I can't remember if like, thematically it's supposed to be a prequel or a sequel,
I don't remember,
or it's just other stuff in the world.
It's other stuff in the world. It's a smaller...
It's your entry point into the Gloomhaven universe.
Yeah, and it's a smaller footprint. In terms of the game, it is a smaller footprint, but it's not all of Gloomhaven or all the Gloomhaven. It's like you're just kind of in the city, you're in sewers, and you're kind of doing individual missions there. So you're not like going across the countryside like you are in
Gloomhaven. World crossing.
No. But it's really, really fun, and it's more accessible because it is a smaller game. There's only, I think, 25 scenarios in it.
Yep.
And they're all in this spiral-bound book that everyone's been bugging Isaac Childres, the maker of it, to make for Gloomhaven, because it does make it so much easier to play.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably harder to accomplish accomplish in
Well, because
Gloomhaven because the
it was
maps
so much
get
bigger,
so big.
yeah.
But
it
yeah,
was nice
would be
because all like the obstacles and stuff were just printed on the board already.
Yeah.
So there was like, it was really easy to play. But it's just Gloomhaven. So much so that you can literally take the characters in Jaws of the Lion and just play them in Gloomhaven. Like, you can mix and match kind of as you choose, but it's still Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is really, really good. I've been playing some digital Gloomhaven again because I'm like,
Nice.
God, I really like the system of this game.
It is great.
But this is a game where you're going to choose 2 cards. You're playing a character. The characters are all very, very different.
Yep.
They do play very differently. And it's a co-op game where you're kind of working together and you're choosing 2 cards, and you're going to choose the top half of one of the card and the bottom half of the other card. The bottom halves tend to be movement based, and the top halves tend to be attack based. Not always, sometimes that switches up, but that's generally how it is. So usually you're choosing 1 to move and then 1 to do some kind of attack. And again, depending on the character, you're like the brute, they're going to be wanting getting in and punching and fighting and stuff like that.
Very melee
the spell
heavy.
weaver, something like that. It's like back putting spells. I like the tinkerer because I can just make little weird like gadgets and stuff like that. It's just fun. It's really, really interesting. And like, it's one of those games where it's like each of the scenarios are cool and different, but you know, it's a dungeon crawler. So there's only so many different kind of scenarios.
Sure.
A lot of times it's like, go here and pull this lever, and it's that kind of stuff. But the whole point of the game is learning your character and
leveling up that
leveling up,
character.
and then eventually retiring them.
Yes, they will eventually hit a. You have like a
you're
your
mercenaries,
life's mission, or,
Yeah.
you know, life's work or whatever. Basically, a card that will give you some kind
They'll
of
like become a great painter.
Yeah.
You know, get that
in
promotion
touch.
at the accounting firm you work at.
Listen, you know, repair the relationship with your dad.
Yeah, honestly, real talk.
Or there's like one where he played where it's like you have to get knocked out like 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, because you're just like trying to figure out how the human body works and stuff.
Sure.
There's like different things where you will be able to achieve, you know, work toward your kind of big goal over time.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a time to retire that character. This will oftentimes in the main Gloomhaven game bring a new character in, you know, into being available to play as. But along the way, and in Jaws of the Lion as well, you're going to be leveling up your character, which will be getting new types of cards, sometimes stickering and augmenting cards to permanently change them, which is really, really fun. And again, yeah, Jaws of the Lion, I think, was so successful because Gloomhaven's a big old box. It's very expensive. And Jaws of the Lion gives you all of those vibes and puts it into a more manageable size box and price point. And also, again, it has a 25 scenario book. And the first like 5 scenarios are basically a tutorial system where it starts you off very simply. And through those first 5 tutorials, it adds more and more mechanisms and, you know, things like items and whatnot. And here's how obstacles work. And so it's a really great way to be like, you can handle this game. I promise you, we are going to take it so slow.
Yeah.
So anybody can get into Gloomhaven through this, and it's been rewarded with being insanely successful.
Yeah. Number 3 is Gloomhaven.
Whoa!
It won in 2017, 3 years earlier.
There would not be Jaws of the Lion without Gloomhaven.
That's true. So we won't go too much in depth because we literally just talked about Gloomhaven. Yeah, it's just we played through Gloomhaven on our own channel. We actually played through the entire thing in a week. Every single scenario, it's like 102 scenarios, something like that.
The whole entire box we got through in a week.
In a week. It was
a long week.
It was
I'm not gonna lie.
like
And I did
16-hour
it.
days.
He'll be surprised. I did it when I didn't have a kid.
That's true. Although Karen was pregnant, wasn't she?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So never doing that again.
That was already a big ask. Like, hey, you're fine, right? I'm gonna be over in the garage for
Yeah,
a week.
that'll never
You're
happen
good.
again.
You're set.
She's got to go off to college, then we'll do that kind of thing again. But nonetheless, Gloomhaven is a classic. It was the #1 game on BGG for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just Gloomhaven. It's been incredibly successful. Frosthaven is also in the top 100. It's also been incredibly successful. It's just, these games are great.
Yeah. Oh man.
Man, this one really took over the world, for the board game world. This is Pandemic Legacy Season 1, which won in 2015.
I still
remember when this happened.
Yeah, I think something like, not to say it can never happen again, but like Pandemic Legacy Season 1 was this phenomena. Like we've all played Pandemic. For many of us, very much us included, it was our gateway game into the hobby. And now, like, what legacy game? What do you mean? You're ripping up cards? This is the ever-changing story, but based on Pandemic. Like, all these things came together, and this game just blew up, and it shot to the top of the number one rankings and stuff. Sat there for a good long while, and was sort of like the only everything we could talk about for and for us that was in the earlier days of us really diving deeply into the hobby. It was cool, man. It was a whole event.
Yeah, it really
was massive
because like you said, it'd be hard for something like that to happen again.
Because now we have legacy games.
Well, yeah, and it's like there was like Risk Legacy before this. So legacy games technically existed before this, but there was like one, maybe two, and that was kind of it. But on top of that, you're also taking
Daviau, right? So.
Yeah, by Rob Daviau. But you're also taking one of the most popular to this day games of all time, Pandemic.
Yes.
And then giving it this kind of treatment. So they did like Ticket to Ride, like Legends of the West, which is like a legacy version of Ticket to Ride. But again, that came out like a year or two ago. So it's like tons of legacy games that existed. So that was a big deal when it happened, but it wasn't like this like hobby shaking thing.
Yeah. I also think they executed
well. And it's also insanely good. That's the thing. Is like it's not just like, oh, look at this like kind of gimmick that it's a legacy thing. It's like, no, it was really fun.
Yeah.
So memorable.
Without spoiling stuff, if you haven't played it, we do highly recommend. We played through all of the Pandemic legacies.
Yes,
they're
all
so
fun.
good. The first one is extra great because the first game is just Pandemic like you've always known
normal,
it.
Yeah.
It's so normal, and then the end of that game happens, and you do a little bit of book work and stuff. You go, oh, by the way, what was the state of the world? Oh, things are different now, and then it just goes from there, and it is so it is so good, man. It is. We were late to the party. We played it
years after the fact. Yeah,
5-6 years after it came. We probably played in 2021-ish or something like that, 2020. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is worth the wait. And once we went through it, I was like, I completely understand. Not that I didn't before, but I completely understand. Like, this is why this shot up to the top, and it fully deserved to be there because it was such an epic experience. Again, if you like Pandemic and you want to take that into a journey where the world will forever change, it is so fun.
Number one is Ark Nova. You probably knew this one was happening. Ark Nova won in 2021. Ark Nova is so good.
Because is Ark Nova 3 overall right now or 2?
Is it? Let me check. I think it's I thought it was 3. Maybe.
It's way up
talk about
there.
Ark Nova. I'll look
The point is, Ark Nova is about running a zoo.
I try to keep the BG Top 100 in my head at all times, but it's not always possible.
We keep it pretty firmly in there. We're on there a lot. Ark Nova, you could have seen this coming a mile away. This game has been so beloved since it came out in 2021. It's been plastered in the hotness or just outside of it ever since, like 5 years on. Ark Nova is liable to pop up in the hotness. It is always amongst the most played games in a month. And it was even doing that before they had a digital version or it being on Board Game Arena and stuff. Like this game has been so cool. It's got this great kind of Tableau engine building where you're going to be building enclosures, putting animals in them, which are, the different animals you're taking care of in your zoo. You're focusing on conservation efforts and trying to pass these 2 tracks. There's one track is your appeal, which is like how nice it is to be in your zoo and walking around. How many tickets are you producing, essentially? And then you are going to be moving another marker based on the conservation efforts you do, and you want those 2 tracks to cross. And so you are ultimately going to be doing a blend of making this nice zoo, but also releasing animals back to the wild and stuff, which that's, I think, been definitely for us what has really worked for this game. And what I like about zoos is that they are now so focused on conservation, education, rehabilitation of populations of animals that are, forever endangered and things like that. And like, I really think that's like a noble, beautiful thing for us to be doing. And so having a game that kind of celebrates that and makes it, like you get more points through conservation efforts, because again, the appeal track has, for every 3 spaces on the appeal track, there's 1 conservation space. You are literally rewarded more heavily for doing conservation, which I think is how it should be. And I think that really works for a lot of people. There's kind of a Terraforming Mars, like, tag situation
Right.
where, you know, there's different types of animals that come from different places and things, and certain cards will have prerequisites where you need to have an Africa tag to play this African animal, and so you can achieve that through multiple things. There's a really cool action selection situation as well.
It's kind of like
it's just a complete package. I
yeah,
think,
and that's
you know
the thing is like Ark Nova doesn't do anything new per se in terms like there's not like a new mechanic that no one's ever seen before.
Sure.
And I've always argued like you don't need to do anything new. Like you can just take things that already exist and put them into a really excellent package. And that's literally what Ark Nova is. It's like the kind of action selection is from like
So Civilization New
Dawn. Yeah, I think
similar...
it's like that's kind of like that. It's gonna get kind of like a tag system from like Terraforming Mars. You're building out a kind of tableau of little hex tiles. That's not new. None of it's new, but you can do these things in a brand new, wonderful way and putting them all together. It's just great. I don't know. Ark Nova is one of my favorite games of all time. It's now number 2. It wasn't number 2 recently, so it's very recently number 2. Just passed up Pandemic Legacy. We'll see if it can catch Brass Birmingham. Considering how popular it is, my guess is it probably will, but we'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be two juggernauts fighting right there. But Brass Birmingham, Denver won Game of the Year, and Ark Nova. What was came out the year Brass Birmingham did? I can't think what year that is.
So like 2019,
2018, 2019. Wingspan, whatever. I don't know, but nonetheless, that is going to be the people's choice. Thank you all so much for rating games on BGG. Make sure to rate, talk in forums, upvote images, videos, all this different kind of stuff. Engage with BGG because it really does change things like this list. It's one of the things that I enjoy. You know, it's like it's fun to see the BGG list change over time. It's interesting to see the Golden Geek because again, like. BGG doesn't have any say in any of these things, right? It's all user driven. It's like the hotness. It's like what's on the hotness, whatever people are clicking on. BGG doesn't choose any of that,
including
right?
with the Golden Geeks, that includes which games are nominated.
Yes, exactly.
It's like people have to, you know, speak up and say, "Hey, I think this game should be recognized."
Yeah.
So it is really cool to have something like that. And like you said, Ark Nova just shifted into the number 2 spot fairly recently. So this is something that's kind of fun. Is if you watch this video in the future, this list might not be accurate anymore,
Probably
simply
won't be.
Because the site is alive. It's living and breathing, and things are shifting all the time based on who's playing what, who's clicking on what, how people rate games and stuff. And I think that's like the coolest thing about Board Game Geek. And that's why we like doing this every month, is to celebrate like you. You have the ability to control and help shape what the site is, you know, with your commentary on games, with you know, the pictures you provide, all those kinds of things. It's just most awesome resource we have for board gaming, and we love taking a look at like the data to see like what, you know, what has captured people's interest. And this one, like we said, is sort of the double interest level of like these were things that were nominated and voted on by BGG users, and then overall ranked by BGG users as well. Which is just really, really cool. So thank you if you participate in Board Game Geek to whatever level you do. It is awesome. It helps make the site better. So thank you for that. Keep rating those games. Keep logging your plays. All those kinds of things contribute to everything that Board Game Geek is. So we appreciate that. That is the top 10 Golden Geek winners as of this moment in the year 2026. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.